See what this car's doing. Right folks, good morning. Welcome back to the UK, welcome back to winter, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Well, what a week and a half or so it's been since I've got back from Australia. Regrettably, I managed to catch COVID, it would appear, on the way back, either from somebody on the plane or maybe somebody in the airport, but within sort of a day and a half of arriving back at Manchester, I started to feel groggy, almost like cold symptoms, but did a COVID test, came back positive, so that was unfortunate, and it scuppered my plans a little bit. Yeah, scuppered my plans a little bit for things I wanted to do immediately upon getting back, because the first thing I wanted to do obviously was to get out on bike, because I haven't been on it for a few weeks. Have some fun, but I couldn't do that. I don't think you need to isolate at the moment, but I chose to just sort of keep myself to myself a little bit. But then thankfully I managed to test negative before I did the Ring of Red, the M60 commemorative ride for Remembrance Day. So yeah, I put that video out, as I hope you've seen. Certainly it seems to have got quite a few views, so hopefully people enjoyed that. So if you've watched it, thanks very much. Yeah, so I've decided I've come out for a little ride today. I've just stopped back at one of my local little haunts up on the moors, up at Baildon area. It's bloody freezing, no idea what temperature it is, but I would suggest it's probably about 4 or 5 degrees. The visor keeps steaming up, which doesn't help. There's no pin lock on this visor for this helmet, this Bell MX9. So I'm just going to keep opening the vent a bit, so hopefully you can still hear me. So yeah, I'm just going to get parked up, do a little video, and I thought what I'd do is I'd do a little bit of video about the bike today. I did do a review on it, 6-month review, which was very basic, I appreciate that. But what I want to do is just try and, in this video, give people some advice, some information about the bike itself, what it cost me, what I've done to it to support it, service costs, which was obviously for the first service. It hasn't had its second service yet because I haven't done that many miles on it. I haven't got to 6,000 on it yet. But yeah, I just thought do the first, just do a little bit of a video about the modifications I've done to it, that type of thing. Whether I think they're good mods, bad mods, worth the weight in gold, or whether I've wasted money, that type of thing. So if that's if that's something that might interest you, by all means, keep watching, and I shall catch up with you in a few moments. I'm just going to turn around here and go park up on one of the little grassy areas or dirt areas, and back down here. Find somewhere quiet where I'm not going to get interrupted when I'm doing a bit of filming. But my God, it's cold today. Where can I go? Oh God, it's cold. Did I tell you how cold it was? Yes, I think I might have done. Right, can I get backed up in here? What the hell, why not? This is as good a place as any, and it's nice and quiet here as well. No other cars, get a few dog walkers walking past, but other than that, should be good. Right, back with you in a moment, folks. Right, so here she is, here's the Husky. So as most of you will know, I'm sure by now, that I traded in my GS Adventure 1250 version of it back in March, back end of March this year, 2022. I already had a Husky 701, which I'd had since the previous year, which was a 2018 model, and as you know, I liked that so much I decided that that's the bike I wanted to have and own going forward, so I got rid of the GS. So that the GS went, basically traded it into a Honda dealership, which is where I bought this from. So I'm not going to be slating BMW. I mean, don't get me wrong, BMW GS, I had some fantastic times on it and it was a terrific bike, but you know, you get older, you're not necessarily as fit as you used to be, and that's the reason why I've gone down this bike, for no other reason really than that. But there's the fun factor on it as well. Obviously it is a fantastic bike. So price wise for the bike, I mean, obviously it's significantly cheaper than many other bikes on the market at the moment. I paid $9,521 for this bike, and that included having the suspension upgraded prior to collection of the bike. So it was done by the Husqvarna dealership, if you like, and they basically, as I understand it, they modify the front forks, putting some spacers or washers in or something to lower it, something along that nature anyway, and then they also replace the rear shock as well, just to give you that extra bit of ability to touch the ground, because they're very tall bikes, are these, obviously. So that was the first modification I had done with this bike, and I appreciate obviously not everybody will need that. I'm as near as damn it 5'11 and a half, call it 6 foot. But it doesn't really matter how tall you are, it's your inside leg that counts, and my inside leg, I think it's about 30 inches, 29, 30 inches, and I just couldn't confidently reach the ground. So that's why I went for the lowered suspension. Yeah, so that's it. So I think the base price of the bike was just over 9 grand, but as I said, I paid 9.5, which included the suspension modification on it. So other than that, at the point of purchase, I did a few other things which I'll come back to in a moment, but I'll just leap on to the first service. I thought it was quite pricey really for what it was. Yes, it was done at the main dealership, which, you know, you've got to have it done, I suppose, there at these places, because they've got all the technical data to do modifications for it and stuff like that, and software updates. But yeah, I paid 170 quid for the first service, which, when you think about it, is really at 600 miles, and maybe just checking a few nuts and bolts, checking that, you know, things are still working. Personally, excuse me, I thought that was quite pricey. But it is what it is, and, you know, end of the day, these dealerships, they charge the money, they make the money, and they're in it for a business, aren't they? So what else have I done then? So one of the first things I had done, because I learnt a valuable mistake with the older Husky that I had, when the mirror snapped when I dropped it. So I had some double take mirrors fitted on these, which I got from Amazon, and I think I paid about 120 quid for them. It didn't seem to matter whether I got them from Amazon or whether I bought them from a dealership. They were the same price. The only reason that swayed me towards getting them from Amazon was the fact that they had them in stock and they could guarantee a next day delivery, which I wasn't too fussed about, but at least they could deliver them, whereas the main dealerships didn't seem to have them in stock and had no idea when they would have them in stock. So, you know, sometimes Amazon, it's a good deal. Get yourself onto Amazon and see what they've got. The other modification I had done to it, which was quite beneficial, was the little screen I've got on here. Now again, it doesn't look much and you might not think it's very effective, but it's a genuine Husqvarna part, and to be fair, it does deflect the wind extremely well off your midriff, off your chest, and it makes the ride a lot more comfortable, especially in colder weather as we've got at the moment. How much did I pay for that? That was 74 quid, which again seems quite pricey just for a thin piece of plastic like that, but it's effective, and so at the end of the day you can't begrudge that. Comes with a template, so you can screw holes or drill holes through the plastic white shield there, the standard shield. Yeah, it comes with a template, so you can just do that yourself. It's relatively easy to do. And the other things I've got, so I quite like these little after effects here, the brake reservoir covers, and also, if you can just see that, it might be better if I come around this side. So on the clutch cover, so handbrake cover was about 17 quid, give or take, and the hydraulic clutch cover, don't know why, but for some reason that was more expensive, even though it's smaller. That was 19 quid. But yeah, I think they're a nice little touch, and if you just want to start blinging your bike up a little bit, little subtle touches like that, they can go quite well. What else have we got? Rear brake reservoir cover. So the rear brake, I can just see it, so you can possibly just see it in there, just behind some strapping I've got from a Moscow Moto Pico bag. What did I pay for that? Rear brake reservoir. So yeah, that was 14 quid as well. Yeah, it just adds a bit of bling to it, doesn't it? But goes with the rest of the style of the bike. What else have we got? Yeah, so oil plug cover. Again, minor little touch, but I fancied that, so that was 15 quid. And you know, again, basic. It doesn't do a great deal, does it, other than what the original one does? But I just thought they had them in at the dealer and they were selling them off cheap, so yeah, so I paid 15 quid for that. What else have we got then? We'll just come around here. One of the other modifications I got was a GPS mount, which is the black plate you can see there under the top black plate. I got that from a company called Wrench Ride, which is sort of over Salford, Bolton area, and that set me back about the 40 quid mark. Just literally bolts on. I think it came with some extra bolts, so it's easy to put on. Just literally just take the original bolts out, replace them with the longer ones, and then just torque it up accordingly in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and the service manual. So that's that. Right, you might not be able to see it too well. I can just get the camera in there, but there is on the Husky, when you buy it, you get a plastic radiator grille, but they're not very strong, and I think the holes in them are pretty large, so there's always some small debris that can get through. So again, I got the genuine Husqvarna radiator grille from a dealership. That set me back 58 quid. I think they're worth the weight in gold, because end of the day, we all know, don't we, that radiators are quite pricey should you need to replace them or repair them. So that's a valuable and worthwhile modification to the bike. You might be able to see it better there, but no, lighting's not right good here. But anyway, a modification there for the radiator grille. It goes on quite easy, just use the original fixings and just slide it on. So I've seen on some other videos where people have put the rear disc protectors on. Now, there's a company in America called Vanash that supply them and produce them, but you can also get the genuine Husqvarna one. So I went for the genuine Husqvarna one for no other reason than the local dealership. They had it in stock and they offered me it at a good price because they had it in for quite a while. So I paid 120 quid for that, but I think realistically it should have been about 160, 170 quid. But there's it literally just replaces the original mounting system for your calipers and or the plate at the back of your swing arm and your calipers that go onto that. It's just a straight replacement. So, and I think that's good, especially if you're taking it off-road a bit. Just gives you a bit extra bit of protection. So, right, what else have we got? Right, so something I bought quite recently. When I was out in Australia, I got an email from Krieger, who are a UK stockist of the Outback Motor Trek crash guards or crash bars, and much to my pleasure, they've always made them in white and black, but they've started producing them in blue, which obviously matches the blue framework of the 2022 model bikes, maybe even 2020. I'm not too sure what colour they are. So so I ordered the blue ones. They sent me back 170 quid. Easy to fit. You literally just you get the original sorry, not the original, you get some replacement longer bolts just at that point and that point, and you literally just take them out there, bang them back up, and then there's a cross brace that goes there, if you can see that. I think you can see that there, just to give it a bit of strength and rigidity. But yeah, the idea of that is it'll give me a little bit of protection if and when I drop the bike. It'll just protect the plastics. It gives me a point to also mount the GoPro camera on there if I want to do so, and also when I'm transporting the bike on a trailer, it just gives me an additional tie-down point. So there's quite a few advantages to those. And let's see then, what else have we got? Right, so yeah, I mentioned Vanash, didn't I, a while ago, in regards to the rear motor protector. So I did order quite a few bits from Vanash, and let's just see what we've gone for. Brake pedal pad, right. It's got a wagon coming in here. So yeah, some bits that I got from Vanash in the States. I got the well, let's just start with this here. I got the rear brake lever, which is much stronger and thicker than the original one. Works a treat, nice and thick. It's probably about 3/4 of an inch thick. So I got that. How much did I pay for that? Brake pedal itself was 120 quid, which is expensive, but hopefully it won't snap or bend in. The brake pedal pad itself, which is the blue studded bit there, I paid 30 quid for that. And then these beautiful, well, I think they're beautiful, adventure foot pegs. They're about half the size again, if not twice the size of the standard pegs. And you can get these studs, you can get either dowels or the screw-on bits, like grommets I suppose. I went for those. And those pegs set me back, let me check my little list, 197 quid for a pair. So certainly not cheap, but I think they look the business, and you certainly get a fantastic grip on them with your boots. So the side stand protection, or the side stand base plate, if you like, on the standard Husky, it's quite small, as it is on the majority of bikes that you get. I've no idea why manufacturers don't produce a larger base, so you've got a bit more support for your bike, but they don't. So I got the side stand extension. I got that from Vanash. It's massive, and it seems to be very well made. It's quite tall. It's, I don't know, maybe about 15 mil thick, so you've got to account for that obviously when you are parking up, so the bike doesn't end up too vertical. But side stand extension, yeah, 42 quid I paid for that, and so far no issues at all. It seems to be very well made, and I'm very pleased that I bought that. So the other thing I bought was the Vanash fuel cap. So again, I've seen loads of things online, people that own the Huskies, excuse me, in particular the 701s, where the standard plastic fuel cap, which is lockable, sometimes people will get the key stuck in it, because obviously it's susceptible and prone to getting all sorts of crap and moisture in there. And if you get your key stuck in there, A, you might not be able to get it out, and B, if you struggle too hard to get it out, I've known of cases where the key's actually snapped, and then you're up shit creek, aren't you, really? So I went for this Vanash. Yes, it doesn't lock, so that's a disadvantage, but I don't tend to leave the bike in places where it's going to get tampered with. I'm never really out of sight of it within reason, so struggling to do that, but there we go. So that's a Vanash fuel cap. Very easy to fit. You just need to remove the plastics off here so you can get to it from underneath. It'd probably take about 10, 15, 20 minutes tops to do that. And how much did I pay for that? That was 128 quid. and I think that was a very, very worthy purchase. No regrets at all in buying that. Right, let's come around to the side. So, case saver. In fact, wrong side. I was on the right side to start with. The case saver. So that is another obviously part there from Vanash, as you can see, with their branding on it. Does it serve any real purpose? Well, I suppose it makes it easier for you to get in and see how much crud there is there. Adds a bit of bling to it. I like it. Seems to be very well made, very easy to install. And yeah, I think it's worthy of going on the Husky. It certainly gets people's attention, and I've had a few comments about it, positive comments, where people have, you know, seen it and said, "Oh, where's that? Where do you get that from?" So yeah, the case saver, that were 85 quid. Like I say, I like it anyway, and it just seems to give him another sort of focal point to the bike. But as I said, it's also easier for you just to get in and clean any crud out if there is any gathering in that general area on the small sprocket. So yeah, 85 quid for that. Right, let's see what else we've got on my list. Right, let's come on to this then. The Acro pipe. I've never had an Acroprovic on any of the bikes I've owned. I've always sort of had a secret little desire to own one, and so one reason why I wanted to change the pipe over was because I use soft luggage on the bike, the Moscow Moto luggage, and the original pipe runs extremely hot. So after a bit of research, ringing a few companies and speaking to them for recommendations, I went for the Acroprovic, which cost me, I think it was £1,100. So it's probably the largest, in fact it is the largest additional modification or accessory that I've fitted on bike. So yeah, 1,100 quid for that. Got it from a company, I won't mention the company because I did end up falling out with them a little bit. It wasn't quite as good as I thought in regards to the heat aspect of it. It burnt relatively warm, and as a consequence of that, it was likely to damage the panniers that I use. So I ended up buying the Moscow Moto heat shield, which just allows the panniers just to sit a little bit proud of the pipe. And so far, touch wood, it hasn't damaged the panniers, but it certainly doesn't run, I don't think, in my opinion, any cooler than the standard pipe. So in hindsight, I think I should have gone for something like the Wings, or even like I had on the older bike, which was an SC Project one, which cost about a third of the price of that. You know, that used to run really, really cool. So maybe I should have swapped over and just kept that. But I wanted an Acro, I got an Acro, and I'm stuck with it now. I won't be selling it on, that's for sure. Right, handguards. Let's just move around here to the handguards. I'm not sure what make these are. I think I had the Aceribus, is that how you pronounce it? I think it is, on the other bike. These are, I think they're just genuine KTM ones. They're all designed for the 690 or this bike 701. Got those from the dealer. I got a special deal on those. Pair of those, 74 quid fitted, which I don't think were too bad. Seem quite nice and strong. Secured onto the bars well. Better than the Aceribus ones, to be fair. But yeah, very strong, and no real modifications that you need to do. Clasped on there, and so that's it really. I've made on my list here the Moscow Moto Reckless 80 system, but it's not on the bike as you can see at the moment. The only thing from Moscow Moto I've got on at the moment is the Pico bag. It's only got a capacity of about 1 litre, but it's adequate. I generally just keep things like house keys in there, mobile phone, maybe a wallet, something like that. Just things that I need quick access to, rather than from rummaging around, unzipping jackets and stuff like that. And I've put down here, it cost me 172 euros, whatever that might be in pounds. Very expensive, I think, for what it is. But having said that, I've used it on a few trips, and it has never let me down. Just got a strapping system there, it goes to your framework, and then I just also just put it around the headstock. Easy to undo. You literally just undo those clasps there, and then there's some more clasps further down there where you can just undo that. And so that is that. Right, let's come around this bit here. So, gear lever. Wearing the city adventure boots that I do, with the original gear lever that was there, I was struggling to get my foot in and get the gears selected cleanly and smoothly. And I saw online a company called Hammerhead, and apparently you can specify to them what size boot you wear, and they'll actually produce you a lever that's appropriate to the size of boots that you want. So that's what I did. So yeah, ordered that from the States. Hammerhead gear lever and tip. So you get like either blue tips or orange ones, KTM. 110 quid, that set me back. But again, unlike the original one that comes on it, it does seem to be a lot stronger, thicker, and hopefully that won't bend if I ever drop it. The tip of it here, spring loaded, so it'll just bend in. Let me get rid of that paperwork. It'll just bend in if you or when you drop the bike, and hopefully it won't smash anything. So that's that. And the other thing I got was the rear rack. I got this from the main Honda dealership, or Husqvarna dealership, where I got the bike from. Solid as a rock, it weighs a ton. Very expensive, 225 quid. Took an eternity to arrive from Austria, but they recommend it for strapping down your luggage. And not just that, I just think it's a good little feature to put on. If I ever need it for anything else, yes, I put my luggage on it, but you can also use it just for putting a small backpack on there if you wanted to, and tie that down. So I think that's well worth it. And the other thing I didn't mention was the AXP bash plate. It's massive. It's made out of some sort of like polycarbonate, so it's not metal, but it is strong as billio. I paid 175 quid from that, from a company called Wrench Ride, same as where I got some of the bits from. Yeah, 175 quid for that, and I think it looks the business. Again, you get them in black, orange, I believe, possibly, and obviously this colour, which suits this bike down to the ground. Easy to fit. The old one, or the original one that's on it, it does come with a bash plate, but it's thin, flimsy plastic, and the first time you ever bottom the bike out on a rock or anything like that, it'll probably just go straight through your engine. So I think this is definitely a worthwhile investment. And what else have I got? Heel guards. So these little heel guards here, again, I just used those, took the rear pegs off, as you can see. I think most people do. In fact, I don't even think they come with it when you get the bike. But yeah, took them off and put these heel guards on. They're ideal just for tying down my luggage when I've got it on my soft luggage. And that's about the only purpose I use them for, really. So they were 40 quid for a pair. And one of the things I bought quite recently, just to cover up the engine casings, was the triple clamp engine covers. One on that side, and let's just come around here. And again, you'll have seen that when I was showing you the Hammerhead gear lever a moment ago. But again, they're quite thin and they're quite pricey for what they are, but they do just keep general sort of stone chips and stuff like that off your engine. It's just recommended that every now and again you take them off and just clean behind them, just to prevent any abrasion type friction being caused and damage there. So I think that is it. I can't really think of anything else I've done really to the bike. That is probably it, yeah. So that's what I've done modified wise at the moment. I don't think there's anything else I'm going to do. The only thing I might do, and I do have the parts but I've just never got around to fitting it yet, is the side stand switch eliminator. It's just like a module that you can plug in, and I'm quite sure, just see, yeah, I can't quite see exactly where it goes, But yeah, side stand switch eliminator. Somewhere in this general area there's a connector. I'll have to have a look at it some in more detail at some point. But quite simply, it's just plug and play, bang it in, and then it tricks the ECU presumably into thinking that the side stand is up, even if it's not. Because the magnet on these for the side stand, apparently it's pathetic, and if you ever break it or it gets dislodged when you're out and about on a trail somewhere, you will definitely be stranded. That's it. And what else have I done? I've just seen this cable in here, so I fitted in the or wired up the harness for heated clothing. I use Gerbing heated clothing. I haven't got it on at the moment, probably should have done, but yeah, so I've just got the harness in there so I can just connect my clothing up, which is basically just a jacket that I use and some gloves, and that's it really. I don't think it'll be too long before I use that. And the final thing, which I've just remembered, even though it's been staring me in the face, is the Garmin Zumo XT. Got that new, and there's a place I can get them extremely cheap, because I think Halfords at one point was selling them for $350. Garmin themselves were selling them for about $450, but I managed to get it for just over 260 quid, brand new. Actually, that was direct from Garmin, but by using a special scheme that I'm part of. So yeah, they are out there, and you can get them cheap if you do want them. But again, I think they're worth the weight in gold. I had the Garmin Montana 700i before, and I did not get on in the slightest. So there we go, folks. That is the bike with the modifications that I have installed on it at the moment. Hopefully you agree. It's a nice looking bike. Just come down here like this. I think it's a nice looking bike. I love it to bits, and I'm going to get some trips planned on it for next year. Maybe get back up to Scotland, and I certainly want to do a bit more camping next year. I think the bike's proven itself. It's more than capable of carrying luggage, including my tent and all my other bits and bats. So that's what I'm going to do. Booked in for a few little off-roady type sessions. I've got the ABR festival booked. I'm going to go down to that what's it called, the KTM place, Lamb Chop Rides or something. I've forgotten what it is now, but yeah, I'm going to get that booked and get that done next year early on. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that video. I'm now just going to jump back on the bike, go to my usual cafe at the end of this road, see if it's open, and if it is, get myself a hot chocolate, because I am freezing to death here doing this video. So I hope you appreciate it, and I'll catch up with you in a few moments when I'm back on the bike. So maybe you'll agree, some of those modifications are quite beneficial, and some of them are just tarting the bike up, and they may be just for show more than anything else. But you know, we get our bikes, don't we, and we like to do these little mods to them now and again. BMW GS is no more so than that, with all your Touratech and Nippy Norman bits and bats. But you know, these bikes, they're our pride and joys, aren't they? When we like to just sort of make them personal to us, and I know, personalise them. Right, is this coffee shop open? Let's have a look. The Old Glen House. No, it isn't open. Oh, it does say it's open, but I'm not sure it is. Says yes, we are open. Let's go see if they are. Morning. I wasn't sure if you were open, even though it says, yes, we are open.
Yeah, because it was in the title, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I thought, I wonder if they've just forgotten to change it over. Right, nice bit of flapjack there, and one of those little cornflake buns with chocolate all over them. Far too many calories, but very tasty. I do like calling in there, having a quick bite to eat, just supporting local business. Right, back into the cold elements, freeze to death now. Oh, I do love this bike. So yes, I'm contemplating going down to the motorcycle live show, NEC, this weekend. I went last year. Yeah, I did go last year, didn't I? So I went on train last year. It took me ages to get there, but I think I'll drive down if I go, and I'll go down on Saturday. I'll double check the weather though first. And speaking of weather, I've got some very dark clouds ahead of me and above me. It looks like it's about to absolutely pee it down. Right folks, I'm going to wrap the video up there. I hope some of you have found this video interesting and beneficial. It just goes to show really, doesn't it, that if you've got a bike like this, you know, either a Husky 701, KTM 690 or something of that nature, just goes to show you that there's loads of accessories out there that you can buy from a multitude of dealers and suppliers, manufacturers, just to make your own bike that little bit more personal. So hopefully, as I said, some of you have found it interesting. If you have, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. So take care folks, and I'll catch you all later.